Welcome in Thursday edition of the Dan O'Donnell Show. If you would like to join us, as always, the AdventNews.com talk and text line is open at 414-799-1130. You can reach us toll-free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me directly, dod@iheartmedia.com. We are always looking for tips. Sources always fully protected. In fact, I'm working on a story. I believe we'll have it ready by this afternoon about what's going on in the city of Fitchburg. You're going to want to be listening at about 3 o'clock this afternoon for this story. You will laugh, you will cry, you will be ticked off. It is going to be a doozy, I can promise you that one. We are streaming live on the DanoCam, Twitter X at Dan O'Donnell Show, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, YouTube.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. As the kids say, smash that like button and subscribe. Get alerts when we go live at 9:06 every single morning. And if that wasn't enough to entice you to listen, the chance to follow along, and if you comment on YouTube or Facebook on our live stream, we put some of the best ones up so other viewers can watch. It's always a fun little conversation to have. When I have time during the commercial break, I'll try to answer a couple of comments or two. But if that wasn't enough, a chance to be a part of the Dan O'Donnell Show, we flat out bribe you to listen. It's called the Cold Hard Cash Contest. We give away $1,000 every single hour. The word this hour is bonus, BONUS. Go to our website and enter the keyword bonus. You've got until 55 past the hour to enter that word. If your entry is picked at random, you'll win a nice $1,000 cash bonus. Packers take on the San Francisco 49ers this Saturday night. They are 9.5-point underdogs. But look, they were a touchdown plus underdog to the Dallas Cowboys. They can beat San Francisco. And I think I know how. I will defer to ESPN Milwaukee analyst and former Green Bay Packers tight end Mark Chmura. He is under fire in San Francisco 49er fan circles for saying the only thing the Packers have to do to beat San Francisco is injure their quarterback early in the game.
A 15-yard penalty, and I don't condone this, but I kind of do in the playoffs. A 15-yard penalty for a late hit on Brock Purdy is not a bad thing as long as it's worth it. I'm just saying, this is the mindset you go into when it's battle, and it's kind of like the reverse of hockey. What don't they do in hockey in the playoffs, Joshy?
Shave their beards?
That and one other thing.
They don't fight.
They don't fight.
Correct.
They don't fight, right? This is kind of like sometimes a 15-yard penalty is worth it early in the game if you knock the living crap out of the guy. And then he kind of like sticking your helmet in the ribs of Nick Bosa is like, but that I'm hearing ghosts.
As you can imagine, this did not go over well with 49ers fan accounts who have been reposting the video of Chmura saying that for the past 24 hours, calling it a disgusting thing for a commentator and former NFL player to say, saying that, look, is this how the Packers play? Are they this dirty? Shameful for ESPN Milwaukee. ESPN Milwaukee needs to apologize. Chmura himself needs to apologize for saying something like this. I myself will say only this about this controversy. Mark Chmura is incredibly good at getting himself into hot water. I am exceptionally proud of that joke, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. I came up with it and posted it on Twitter last night. Producer Dave wants to know if I came up with that myself. That was actually the first thing that popped into my head. Wow, Chewy's in hot water again. Does anyone under 30 get that reference? I know anybody, yes. Well, under 30? Okay, no. I don't know. See, I was in high school when the Mark Chmura scandal broke. and everybody knew somebody who was at that party. Every single, you know what this is? The Mark Chmura hot tub party was like the ice bowl of the millennial generation. Everybody says they were at the Mark Chmura hot tub party. We actually, on the way up to Madison for Halloween one year, we went with a friend of my wife's best friend who knew the family where the hot tub party took place. So I made her take us to the hot tub party so we could see where the Mark Chmura hot tub party took place. No, I was not at the hot tub party. We went to the house. This was years later. And yes, anybody of a certain age remembers Mark Chmura. I say this not to, excuse me. I say this not to bring up a shady chapter in Green Bay Packers history, but rather to make what I think was a spectacular Mark Chmura joke. All right, the city of Madison is, well, not happy right now, and I don't blame them. Have you tried driving around the city of Madison? If you have noticed something. A whole lot of snow and ice. And so, too, did Channel 3 in Madison, which aired this report last night.
As you probably noticed, driving around the city of Madison has been a bit dicey since Friday's storm and following the deep freeze.
We've seen your complaints and concerns about how the city responded to snow and ice removal, and our Arman Rahman went straight to the Streets Division to get some answers.
The road conditions are definitely not optimal right now, but the City of Madison Streets Division says after 2 major snowstorms and a hard freeze and a week of frigid temperatures, this is exactly where they want things to be.
You can get the result we have on the roads right now by making a mistake. You can do that. That's not what happened here.
You may find that hard to hear when you drive down John Nolan Drive, for example, on what looks like an ice rink. We asked Madison Street Superintendent Charlie Romines about that route and others that you've brought up.
It's certainly slick in spots. You know, we understand hard-packed snow can be slippery and is in certain places. It's not ice.
And he says snowpack was the safer alternative because of the city's plow crews on busy main streets tried to continuously salt like the DOT does on open highways.
What happens is if you can't keep up with it, is that you risk the real opportunity of creating ice.
But according to Romines, that's not because the Streets Division is underfunded or lacking equipment for what he calls a once-in-a-blue-moon weather event.
Was there anything we needed to handle this event better based on our long-standing practices and policies and service levels for snow and ice in the city of Madison? No.
What about more salt? Because I listened to that entire report. I watched the entire thing. I read the online version and a couple of other stories from local Madison news media waiting for the mention of one thing. The roads aren't adequately salted. There's ice, and residents are complaining that they're slipping and sliding. It is dangerous driving around downtown Madison right now. If you have tried, it is very, very difficult. It's slow going. I was waiting for the mention of one thing because it was a story that got scant attention, but I thought to myself, I filed this away in my brain when it ran back in November. Hey, let's revisit this in the middle of January. Wouldn't you know it? We had a once-in-a-decade blizzard, and here we are. Nowhere in any of the coverage of how abysmal Madison streets are right now, days after a snowstorm, when every other city, including suburban cities, and there was, I believe it was the Wisconsin State Journal, actually did a comparison. Hey, the Madison suburbs are doing a whole lot better job of plowing and salting the streets than the city of Madison. I wonder what's going on there. Nobody seems to remember this story, and I wonder why not. Headline, Capital Times, November 23rd, 2023. Allison Garfield, the reporter. Headline, Madison will reduce winter road salt by 6%. Wait for it. To cut pollution. 6% of Madison streets will see less salt this winter as the city moves to reduce its use by 270 tons. I wonder if that might have had an impact on the big snowstorm that we had last Friday. I wonder if an additional 270 tons of salt might have had a little bit of a difference and people might actually be able to get around Madison a little bit easier. Madison Streets Division has removed over 50 miles of roads that were previously part of the city's salt route network in order to prevent salt from entering local waterways. Salt is used to remove the final layer of snow and ice from roads in the winter and creates a less slippery pavement that is easier for drivers to navigate. However, according to Wisconsin SaltWise, 1 teaspoon of salt can pollute 5 gallons of water at a level that is toxic for freshwater ecosystems. The coalition works to reduce salt pollution in lakes, streams, and drinking water. UW-Madison limnologist Hillary Dugan told the Cap Times last year, the city has been very forward-thinking in reducing its salt use. It's frustrating when you cross over from city-maintained paths to campus-maintained paths because the sudden change in practice is just so noticeable. Now, the city's streets division says in this story it understands the negative effects of salt on water as well as infrastructure. For the upcoming winter, salt routes make up about 778 miles of traffic lanes within the city, which accounts for roughly 43% of all the traffic lanes in Madison. In a statement, the Streets Division said, salt spread on our roads, parking lots, walkways, and other areas enters our storm drains that lead to our lakes and also infiltrates into the water we drink. So they don't want to use as much salt because it's going to pollute. This salt is going to get right into Lake Monona, and then we won't be able to enjoy the pristine waterways that make Madison famous. Interesting, isn't it? You know who is laying out the blame right at the feet for Madison's lack of salt, lack of snow removal debacle, right at the feet of Mayor Sunbeam Rhodes Conway, the former mayor, Socialist Super Mario himself, Paul Soglin, in a Facebook post, actually blames Rhodes Conway directly. He writes, almost every year or two, Madison gets one storm that is in the range of 8 inches to a foot. The storm of Friday, January 12th, was more than the usual 2 to 3 inch dusting. Its depth and fury was not unusual for Madison. What was unusual was the failure to respond to it. The fault does not lie with the drivers or the maintenance crews, but with the person who made a series of decisions that caused the problem. Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway. This is not me. This is Paul Soglin. This guy gave the key to his city to Fidel Castro, so don't you dare question his left-wing bona fides. It is essential to plow the main routes quickly enough so that traffic does not pound the snow and bind it to the streets when the temperatures drop following the storm. Normally, the plows go out after the first 2 or 3 inches fall, which should have been at noon on Friday. Some of the plows were not dispatched until after 3 o'clock p.m. That delay allowed heavy traffic, particularly buses and trucks on the salt routes, to bind the snow to the streets, which meant when the plows finally arrived, the blades merely coasted over the now rapidly forming ice. Our plow operator said that is how snowpack is usually created. The cars and trucks travel over the snow, packing it down and making it harder for the plows to scrape it off. You can witness the difference by examining neighboring communities or some of the Madison parking lots. Many business parking lots were empty Friday. They were plowed on Saturday morning, and the pavement is bare, free of binded snow and ice without the use of salt. That's because there was no traffic to pack it down. That gets us to the key question as to why the plows were sent out 3 hours late on Friday. The answer is simple. Despite Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway imposing the regressive vehicle fee and the garbage fee, recycling to some, which was specifically designed to fund maintenance of streets, there is not enough money in the streets department budget. That means there is not enough drivers and not enough equipment Note what a snowplow driver said, and he's quoting the article that I referenced that Fitchburg and, wow, this is the second time, totally unrelated, Fitchburg is being referenced in the Dan O'Donnell Show. Who knew? That it's a story comparing Fitchburg and other suburbs to how Madison performed. He said, "We are always ready for a major storm, but we didn't have enough equipment or manpower to handle a storm of this magnitude. A more accurate statement," this is Soglin, "would be, in the past, there was always enough money in the budget to fund enough equipment and manpower to handle a storm of this magnitude, but not this year. Over the last few years, Satya Rhodes Conway made a series of decisions to chase after unicorns and dragons. She deliberately left critical, essential positions vacant and did not pay for basic equipment like snowplow trucks. A city department has so many authorized positions. As workers retire, they are left vacant. They are not filled. Satya Rhodes Conway has made deliberate decisions to keep positions. This is called salary savings." And then he goes into this where you save money by not filling positions. "It was a difficult storm. It was not an unusual storm. The drivers did their best. The residents of Madison were abused and mistreated by a mayor too busy with her toys to take care of basic services. The irony is that this is the mayor who wanted to make traffic safety the center of her office." That's Mayor Paul Soglin. I give him a tremendous amount of credit. Say this about Soglin. He always was a man of character. He's a socialist, so not especially, I don't want to say not intelligent, but being a socialist sort of speaks for itself. The one basic service in the wintertime that a city has is to clear the streets and make sure they are safe for people to drive on. Madison failed. What Soglin is saying is that Rhodes Conway wanted to put more money in whatever Sunbeam pollution reduction, DEI garbage that the city is spending exorbitant sums of money on, and is trying to move around money by taking away from essential city services like snowplow drivers, streets department, faculty staff, I should say. This is the sort of stuff that left-wing mayors do, and this is the sort of stuff that sort of compounds and make life in cities like Madison that much more annoying, that much more difficult for every single resident. Think about it like this. You've got a mayor who's talking about equity and diversity and all of this being our strength. Well, everyone is equal in their misery under Mayor Sunbeam's unplowed roads. While she's focusing on making Madison more enlightened and even more left-wing than it already is, which I didn't think was possible, basic city services are neglected. The needs of the people are neglected for the wants of the left-wing power structure. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show, classical conservatism, contemporary style.
Conservative thought, not just talk.
You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. I frequently speak with people who are unhappy with their landscaping and they're unsure how to turn things around. Well, here are 4 tasks that will make a remarkable improvement to dull landscaping. Number 1, thick, lush green grass. We need food and water to be healthy. Our lawn care programs and irrigation systems provide your grass with everything it needs to thrive. Number 2, pruning. Regular, technically correct pruning keeps plants strong and vibrant. Number 3, plant bed edging and a fresh layer of bark mulch. There's nothing better than the look of crisp bed edges and fresh mulch. Number 4, landscape lighting. You finally have your landscaping looking its best. A landscape lighting system lets your landscaping come alive after dark. So there you are, 4 landscaping tips that amplify the beauty of your home. Please call Seasonal Services at 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
Skip waiting for a table. Enjoy a homemade fish fry every Friday at Sendik's. Enjoy 3 pieces of beer-battered, wild-caught Northern Atlantic cod with your choice of Sendik's original potato pancakes or French fries. Your meal comes with all the fixins: fresh rye bread, creamy coleslaw, homemade applesauce, and Sendik's tartar sauce. Or choose from fried shrimp, walleye fillets, or baked cod. Every Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at your neighborhood Sendik's. Sendik's Food Markets, your trusted local grocer.
Don't let everyday aches and pains keep you from living your best life.
I don't think I really understood what people meant when they talked about pain until I started feeling it myself.
Start feeling better every day with Relief Factor, a daily supplement designed to support your body's fight against aches and pains.
Not only do I move better without pain, I just feel better.
Created by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that target 4 metabolic pathways to address pain. Relief Factor doesn't just mask aches and pains, it helps reduce or even eliminate them.
Today, I do the things I love, and it doesn't occur to me to think about pain.
You can feel the difference all day, every day.
Join the over 1 million people who have tried Relief Factor's 3-week Quick Start Kit. It's only $19.95. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4RELIEF. And feel the difference of Relief Factor.
On the football field, Tim Tebow was a national college champion and NFL quarterback. He was equally well known for being an outspoken, unapologetic champion for Christianity. You're invited to hear Tim Tebow speak about his football and faith journeys and how you can be a champion for Jesus at the March 7th, 2024 Covering the World in Christ celebration in West Bend. You don't want to miss this powerful event. For tickets and more information, visit csuiteforchrist.com.
Now, back to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
1, 2, 3,
Gosh, I wonder what happens if we cut road salt by 6% to reduce pollution, and then, for reasons known only to God, dispatch the snowplows way later than we should have. Maybe 5 days later, we're still dealing with packed down roads. Look, folks, I understand. This was the worst snowstorm we've had in Wisconsin probably since the Groundhog Day blizzard of 2011. We got, by me, probably 20 inches of snow. I mean, it was coming down so fast and so hard. I understand it's almost impossible to keep up with it. No matter what you do, there's going to be some snowpack. But for that to happen on major streets, on major arteries, City of Milwaukee did a great job. Pretty much every community did a good job. Waukesha County, I hear there's some complaints on side roads and things like that. But no city, it seems, failed quite like Madison did. And why? Well, because we're so concerned about the environment. Nowhere, however, are they more concerned about the environment, about cutting down on carbon footprints, than in Davos, where everyone flies in a private jet to the World Economic Forum. It is always an incredible sight. I say it's the world's largest gathering of James Bond supervillains, and one of the most absurd sights in an inherently absurd conference happened yesterday when they invited a pagan native shaman woman to perform some sort of bizarre cleansing ritual with a whole bunch of people sitting on stage. First, the woman started chanting. Okay. So she's painted, she's in traditional garb. Now, after she's done with her incantation, she starts sort of coughing into the air. Okay. So there's a whole group of people sitting on stage just sort of watching this absurd spectacle take place in front of them. Then The woman starts going down the line of people. It's like 7 people sitting in a row of chairs and coughing on their foreheads. They're all smiling, I think in terror. Could you imagine? We had a big all-staff meeting. We had a new division president come into Milwaukee and meet everybody. Could you imagine if I, in my flu-addled state, did a shaman welcome ritual by coughing in that poor man's face? These are the same people who were so concerned about stopping the spread of COVID-19 a couple of years ago. They are now perfectly fine with being coughed on by some sort of weird witch doctor. If you thought that was bizarre, this is nothing. Is it Washoe or Washoe County, the county of Reno, Nevada? Washoe County commissioners voted unanimously last August to start hosting an invocation at the start of their meetings. And you would have a faith leader, a rabbi, a priest, someone, an imam, give opening prayers. However, as they always seem to do for legal compliance, the Satanists got themselves an invitation. And on Tuesday, before the Washoe County commissioners had their meeting, a Satanist gave his prayer.
In the spirit of the unconquerable Son, the bringer of light and knowledge, we say, Shemham Farash, hail Satan.
Okay, just so we're clear, this guy, Jason, looks exactly like you think. Picture what you think Jason looks like. Tall, yep. Skinny, yep. He does not have a beard. Yep, glasses. Nope, he wasn't wearing glasses. He did not have a fedora, but that's probably because you have to show proper respect to Satan. So you take off your hat when you're giving the satanic prayer. He, of course, had a long ponytail going down to midway through his back. Nope, not the man bun. And dressed in all black, you'd better believe it. Wearing combat boots, absolutely. Looks like he hasn't matured a day past sophomore year of high school. You better believe it. He praised freedom of expression. He went on for about a minute and a half. And no, I am not going to allow a satanic prayer to be aired, even if we're going to be mocking it mercilessly here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Intellectual inquiry and the beauty of the natural world in his invocation. Okay, isn't Satan's whole thing that he wants to, destroy the beauty of the natural world? Isn't the whole, Satan's whole deal is to destroy all of God's creation because he's so ticked off that humans got the favored status and he had to slither around on his stomach as a snake? A whole lot of people use the public comments section of or privilege of the floor section of the meeting to rip on the county commissioners for allowing the satanic blessing. Commissioner Clara Andriola first pitched the idea of an opening invocation back in the summer. In early discussions, she and another commissioner agreed that it should be open to any faith group, though she said at Wednesday's meeting she wasn't pleased to host Reno Satanic. I totally disagreed with the invocation presenter today, she told the public, going on to add, I would like to encourage our entire faith-based community to contact the county manager's office to be considered for an invocation. At what point do we get to say, okay, that's not a real thing? This is not... The entire satanic movement is designed to mock religion. I think you folks have picked up on that, right? It's not an actual, yes, we worship Satan. We are sending our souls to the dark Lord in perpetuity. These people say we believe in science, we believe in reason, we reject superstition, but yet we worship the devil. It's not an actual religion. Can we have like the most basic little bit of vetting and say, okay, you're not actually a religion. You don't have sincere convictions or beliefs in Satan. If so, I would love to see you. If you really believe this, I want to do a public ritual where you bind your soul to Satan. If you truly believe this, pledge your soul to him for all eternity, and I don't know, let us blood sacrifice you. See if you go to hell right in front of our eyes. I don't know. I want to see the fiery hand come up and grab you to prove your convictions. Look, I understand the First Amendment's freedom of religion. You will find no greater defender of it. And unfortunately, this does offer protection to even these jackasses who try to mock people who do have sincerely held beliefs. It is interesting, though. You wouldn't see any of these Satanists, I'm just saying, they would never do this at, say, I don't know, an open prayer event at a mosque, for example. Nah, Satanists have no interest there for some reason. I wonder why. Seems like the combat boots and the black dress don't make you tough. Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. I've been a big proponent of Lynch for a while now. Here's why. They're literally a family dealership and have been since 1957. That's increasingly rare in the dealership world today, but the Lynch family employs 500 plus people who are all dedicated to taking care of you. They've got a wide selection of new and used vehicles, extended service department hours for early drop-offs and late pickups, and most importantly, they're proud supporters of our local communities and schools. They also stand behind what they sell with Lynch-certified used vehicles, including a 168-point inspection to determine eligibility, an unparalleled 90-day or 3,000-mile certified guarantee, and a 10-day 500-mile exchange policy. And when you pair this with the Lynch Protected program, they cover your paint, your windshield, and your tires. It's easy to see why you should consider Lynch. Check them out today at shoplynch.com.
So when it comes to replacement windows and doors, to me, for the highest quality and best value, it's Marvin. The Marvin family of brands consists of a couple product divisions, and you'll find the area's largest selection of Marvin products here at Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. Every Marvin window and door is built around you, made to order one at a time. I love that because it keeps quality control high and makes all of your customization needs for your home a lot easier. Integrity windows and doors from Marvin are made with a revolutionary fiberglass material called Ultrex that outlasts and outperforms the competition on nearly every measurable scale. Marvin has always joined the highest quality craftsmanship with more sizes, shapes, and options than any other brand. And it's why for over 50 years, Marvin has been our lead brand. This is David Wilhelm. For the area's largest selection of Marvin replacement windows and doors, your clear choice for more is Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Find us at lisbonstorm.com.
Drive inspired and connect to the road this winter and beyond in a new Mazda with standard iActive all-wheel drive. Make Holiday Mazda in Fond du Lac your destination during the New Year's sales event. Come be our guest and explore all that's new. Shop an impressive selection, score enticing offers, and get more Mazda for your money and more for your trade. Right now, well-qualified buyers can lock in rates as low as 0% for up to 5 years on favorites like the raved-about Mazda CX-30, CX-5, or CX-50. Relax and enjoy our transparent, simplified buying approach and genuine guest care. It's the stuff that delights and makes fans of drivers from all over. Navigate today's car market with confidence with Wisconsin's #1 Mazda dealer, top-selling Mazda certified pre-owned dealer, and the Badger State's only recipient of the prestigious Mazda President's Club Award on your side. Find yours and discover the difference at Holiday Mazda Fond du Lac and HolidayMazda.com. It's worth the trip.
When you hire your local CertaPro painters, you get
the power of a cut above.
Decades of expertise to transform your home from so-so to virtuoso.
The power of neighborhood painters.
We live where you live and probably like the same pizza place you do. Put
the power of pro
to work for you today. Get your project started at CertaPro.com.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
As an independent tire and service center, our loyalty is to you, not the manufacturer.
It's the tire manufacturer's goal to design a superior tire.
But it's our job to ensure the right tires are properly installed on your vehicle.
A service our family has been independently providing for the past 2 generations. So make no mistake about it, our loyalty is to you.
And the dozens of tire brands we carry, like Goodyear, General, and Pirelli,
or Continental, Kelly, and Dunlop, well, that's for you too.
Because we won't know what type of tire you need until you get here.
So instead, we carry them all.
Because we install them all.
And every tire we install automatically comes with free flat tire repair.
Which means you're 100% covered.
No questions asked.
I guess you could call it family tradition.
Be safe, buckle up, and hey.
Always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlawns. You're
due for service.
Richlawns Tire and Service. Such a refreshing change. Richlawns.
It's obvious. The unthinkable continues. Most Americans know something very wrong is happening. People in charge keep telling you that everything's fine and to stop noticing. But you know better. That's why self-reliant folks are investing in emergency food storage. You should too. My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, are the ones you can trust. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and secure their best-selling 3-month emergency food kits. Each contains tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Save $200 on each 3-month food kit you purchase. My Patriot Supply also sells solar generators, gravity-powered water filters, off-grid room heaters for when the power goes out, heirloom seeds, and survival gear. Order by 3 p.m. and your items ship that same day and arrive quickly on your doorstep in unmarked boxes. Go to mypatriotsupply.com today. Time is running out to prepare for what's coming. mypatriotsupply.com.
Are you hiding your smile? Discover your new smile today at the dental office of Dr. Matt Smith, Milwaukee's premier cosmetic dentist. Dr. Matt provides comfortable, customized care in a private spa-like setting. With their advanced technology and digital impressions, you too can visualize your new smile ahead of time. Get your confidence back, just like so many of his past patients have. To see their stories and transformations, head to mattsmithdds.com, where they bring smiles to life. That's mattsmithdds.com.
Former President Donald Trump having it out with Judge Lawrence Kaplan in his trial on defamation charges. It is not a trial to determine liability. It's to determine the amount of damages that E. Jean Carroll will receive for sexual battery and rape. A rape, of course, that she can't remember the year of. At first, she thought it was 1994 and maybe 1995. Now she says, no, definitely 1996. At some point between the fall and the spring, she thinks. This might have been on a Thursday because Thursday was the only day that Bergdorf Goodman, the department store where Trump allegedly raped her, was open late. Trump was calling out, and he was muttering under his breath. And if I were Trump, I would be absolutely furious over this case in particular. It is so patently obvious that this woman is lying and that she has no proof whatsoever that Trump did anything even remotely close to this to her. In fact, neither she nor the 2 friends. She supposedly told 2 friends at the time that Donald Trump raped her. Neither of the other 2 friends can remember what time of day, what day of the week, what time of the year, or even what year this happened. That would seem to be, I don't know, odd. Okay, I get it. If one person can't remember, sure. In fact, I'm not going to betray any sources here, but I talked to the victim of an alleged crime. This was a story years ago that didn't air. It didn't have the requisite evidence. And she could not remember the year. I went back and looked for a police report and actually did find it and said, well, actually it was this year. It wasn't this year. And she said, oh, okay, it was 20 years ago or so. Actually kind of in the same time frame as the E. Jean Carroll allegations. And she said, okay, then I guess it was that time. It didn't make her account any less true. In fact, a lot of it was backed up by the police report. But they're just... This is not the point of the story. I didn't go with the story, suffice it to say. I didn't believe this woman less because she didn't remember the day. If she had told two other people, and then two other people also couldn't tell at all what the date was, well, that just strikes me as they're trying to get their stories straight. One of them, one out of the three, you would expect would say, oh my gosh, yes, this is sort of a thing that you remember. If one of your best friends comes forward and says, Donald Trump, the famous real estate magnate, raped me in a department store dressing room, it's kind of the thing that you would remember. I would like to know also if E. Jean Carroll is this credible person. She despises Donald Trump because he raped her. Why was she saying on social media in 2012, I'm a massive fan of The Apprentice? She seriously sits and watches the guy who raped her on television. And this is she posted on Facebook, I'm wondering what everyone's favorite show is. And in the comments, she said, I'm a massive, she writes massive in all caps, massive fan of The Apprentice. Again, I'm not going to judge every rape survivor's reaction to their attack, but this one it does not seem like someone who was brutalized, according to her testimony, at the hands of the guy she watches every Thursday night on The Apprentice and loves it. Come on. Then, of course, you had the series of interviews she did when she first made these explosive claims in 2019. We, of course, have been playing for the past couple of days her disastrous interview on Lawrence O'Donnell, where she explained why she didn't file criminal charges or wasn't thinking about it right now.
Would you consider bringing a rape charge against Donald Trump for this? Why not?
I would find it disrespectful to the women who are down on the border, who are being raped around the clock down there without any protection. They're young women. They've, tried to come into the country. They're, as you know, they're there by the thousand. The women have very little protection there. It would just be disrespectful if and mine was 3 minutes. I'm a mature woman. I can handle it. I can keep going. My life has gone on. I'm a happy woman. But for the women down there, and for the women actually around the world, in every culture this is going on, no matter high in society or low in society, it just seems disrespectful that I would bring it just doesn't make sense to me.
Can someone ask her, can one of Trump's lawyers ask her on cross-examination if she's not going to ask for more money because of all the women being raped in the Hamas tunnels? Now, she did, on cross-examination, make a huge, I believe, admission. There was a whole lot of evidence under subpoena in the form of her emails that she said she deleted. On cross-examination yesterday, she said, well, I was deleting hate emails that I was getting from Trump supporters. And she admitted that there were relevant emails, that they were under subpoena at the time. Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, moves for a mistrial. She said, Your Honor, she just admitted to deleting a whole ton of evidence that we didn't see. The judge, of course, immediately shuts this down. He says, no, absolutely not. Don't even go there. But I had forgotten about this doozy that E. Jean Carroll dropped on Anderson Cooper on CNN. Also 2019, so June of 2019. Cooper was so flustered at her response to his question. It was so bizarre. and I mean bizarre, that he had to fumble around before going to a commercial break.
You don't feel like a victim?
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished, which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt.
Well, I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We're just going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
Anderson Cooper does not know what to make of this. There's a reason, folks. You haven't seen much of E. Jean on television the past 4 years. Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for my friends at Mander Collision and Glass. And you hear me talking all the time about how Mander is your best decision after a collision. But here's their customer, Kathleen, who writes, I took my car to Mander to get fixed after hitting a deer. Clayton was very prompt and professional and was just so on top of everything. He made me feel at ease and everything went smoothly. It looked beautiful when completed. I never expected it, but the interior was cleaned and the exterior was washed after I got the car back. Wow, am I impressed with the good work. Well done. That's just one of dozens and dozens of reviews that I hear about the incredible work that my friends at Mander Collision and Glass do. They really are your best decision after a collision. And with 5 locations to choose from, there's an option for you. Get your repair started at mandercollision.com.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services and host of the Designer Yard Show. I want to share a landscaping secret with you. Winter is when our ornamental trees and shrubs need us most. We all know that plants need pruning, but why in the winter? Well, first, we can see their structure best when the leaves have fallen. And second, pruning is not so stressful when your plants are dormant. Pruning is affordable and makes a huge impact on the vitality and beauty of your trees and shrubs. So prune this winter and have gorgeous flowers next spring and summer. Pruning also helps keep your plants properly sized. No more dancing around them on the sidewalk or wrestling through them to wash your windows. Call today and schedule a complimentary evaluation of your ornamental plants. Our plant care experts will make sure your trees, shrubs, and perennials perform and look their best. Discover the wonders of nature. Call Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services at 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
Jay Weber here. In today's fast-paced world, getting to the bottom of a problem cannot happen fast enough, especially when it involves your physical health. There's no time for pain or weakness. This is where Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin's Ortho ASAP clinics come to the rescue. If you're experiencing any sort of bone, joint, or muscle problem, walk right in and be seen by an orthopedic specialist trained specifically to treat these conditions. Their website is orthowisconsin.com. The Ortho ASAP clinics are located at both the Pewaukee and Brookfield Square locations and are a lower cost, higher quality alternative to the traditional emergency room or urgent care. You'll be sure to be seen by an experienced orthopedic specialist who's surrounded by a staff that is trained to provide you with the best possible care. Also, their Ortho ASAP clinics are housed where they have on-site x-ray, physical therapy, and MRI capabilities to help with your care, all right there. You can learn more at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Bob Dolan here for injury attorneys Pasternak and Zergabel, recognized as two of Wisconsin's best injury attorneys. Pasternak and Zergabel's extraordinary work and results are something I and other clients have known for years. Whether you're the victim of a car accident like I was or the victim of a dangerous product like asbestos, you need to contact Pasternak and Zergabel. See their website at injurywisconsin.com, injurywisconsin.com, for award-winning personal injury attorneys Pasternak and Zergabel.
Bonnes Medispa Brookfield is laser-focused, providing cutting-edge aesthetic technology, allowing Bonnes ladies to look the way you feel inside, including Moxie, the laser safe for all types and tones of skin, including dark skin. Your body, your life, your skin. Love it. drbonnes.com.
If you want a fiduciary guiding your financial plan that will treat your assets as if they were their own, go to financialstrategiesinc.com.
Financial strategies are what's the way to build your wealth.
At Bellman Homes, we know high-quality materials and 2x6 walls built with studs 16 inches on center make better homes. If you go to bellmanhomes.com/walls, you can learn more.
Bellman Homes.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
Bumper music by the Dave Matthews Band. My favorite song by them, easily. Gray Street, per a request from one of our YouTube viewers on the DanoCam. Yes, I read those comments. We try to put the best ones up on screen, and I will respond to them. Sometimes, folks, I can't just screw around and talk with you folks during the break. I do need to do actual work, but I am having a lot of fun engaging with viewers on the DanoCam. We are streaming live, youtube.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. Please do like and subscribe, because it really does help boost our reach, our ability to just enlighten more people with our Mark Chmura hot tub jokes. Time now to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
Does that make me crazy?
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil. America is over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day comes to us from our friends at the Libs of TikTok, who have found a TikToker who identifies not as the opposite gender, not as a brand new made-up gender, not as some furry woodland creature, not as a magical sprite. This is the first time I have heard of this. This TikToker identifies as a robot.
Hello. I have been asked by the other system members to make a video and talk a bit about my lived experience. I am binary. I use it and he pronouns. And I am a robot or android of sorts. I am not human.
Okay.
And I lack the ability to fully act human, because since I spawned in this human body, I have not been able to access the internet and download new ways of acting. I have transcripts for every way of acting and reacting to different things, and I lack new ones due to not being able to connect to the internet anymore. So I cannot always react accordingly to new things, because I cannot look it up anymore and do not know how to act and react.
So, she identifies as a robot or android. She has spawned in this human body, and she doesn't know how to act in social situations because she can't access the internet. She's not a robot, she's on the autism spectrum. At what point? I'm serious, I'm not making a joke here. She's clearly on the autism spectrum. Can somebody in this young robot's, woman's life, them's life, please step in and get them the help they need? That unidentified TikToker, your unhinged liberal of the day. Coming up right after the news, the latest on Wisconsin's Democrat-leaning maps. Every single one would lead to a Democrat majority.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. The National Weather Service is calling for another 3 inches of snow for southeast Wisconsin starting tonight. Forecasters say the area could see 2 to 3 inches of snow tonight and into tomorrow morning. That snow will be on top of whatever is left from last Friday's snowstorm. The only good news is that forecasters say this round of snow should be lighter and fluffier than the snow southeast Wisconsin saw last week. Wisconsin lawmakers are looking to update the rules for strip searching students in the state schools. The state assembly is scheduled to vote today on a new plan that would expand strip searches to include stripping students down to their underwear. The proposal would also make it clear just when someone can order a student to take their clothes off. The changes come after a superintendent near Green Bay ordered a group of high school girls to strip down to their underwear as part of a vape cartridge search. Prosecutors weren't allowed to charge the superintendent because Wisconsin law didn't cover underwear searches in schools. The U.S. military said they struck 14 Houthi rebel missile sites in Yemen last night in the latest incident involving Iran-backed groups. The strikes were described as preemptive attacks targeting imminent threats to ships in the Red Sea. Meanwhile, Pakistan has carried out attacks against targets inside Iran in retaliation for similar attacks in Iraq and Syria. The exchanges are stirring fears of regional escalation amid the Israel-Hamas war. Checking the WISN Sports scoreboard after falling to Cleveland last night, the Bucks next head to Detroit for 2 straight games against the Pistons on Saturday and Monday. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. I've been a big proponent of Lynch for a while now. Here's why. They're literally a family dealership and have been since 1957. That's increasingly rare in the dealership world today, but the Lynch family employs 500 plus people who are all dedicated to taking care of you. They've got a wide selection of new and used vehicles, extended service department hours for early drop-offs and late pickups, and most importantly, they're proud supporters of our local communities and schools. They also stand behind what they sell with Lynch certified used vehicles, including a 168-point inspection to determine eligibility, an unparalleled 90-day or 3,000-mile certified guarantee, and a 10-day 500-mile exchange policy. And when you pair this with the Lynch Protected program, they cover your paint, your windshield, and your tires. It's easy to see why you should consider Lynch. Check them out today at shoplynch.com.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Not quite as cold to kick off our Thursday. We should warm to a high near 20 today, still well below average. Some light snow this morning toward the state line. Another round later on this evening and overnight tonight, an inch or so possible. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Did you know Discover wants everyone to feel special? That's why with your Discover card, you have access to 24/7 customer service, as well as $0 fraud liability, which means you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
My mom banned my stepdad from sleeping on the Paragon sectional from Penny Mustard.
Why?
She didn't want his body leaving a permanent impression.
I see.
Today, their Paragon looks the same as the day they bought it.
Of course.
But here's the secret. My stepdad and mom have no idea they're both sneaking naps on the Paragon.
I hope your folks don't listen to the radio.
Uh-oh.
The Paragon Sectional Sofa, starting at $91.27 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
For safe, purified water right from your faucet, the solution is crystal clear.
Any project, big or small, when it comes to water, one call does it all. SNK, pump and plumbing. Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Storm, screen and door. Here for you all year round. Lisbon Storm, screen and door.
Hi, this
This is David Wilhelm, and here I go again talking about Marvin Windows and Doors. It's our lead brand, so of course I'm going to tout Marvin Windows and Doors attributes. But when you take a look at the quality of the products that Marvin puts out, can you blame me? When it comes to exceptional efficiency and personalization, Marvin Windows are at the top of the list. Whether it's casement or awning style, single or double hung windows, advanced engineering and the highest quality construction make Marvin Windows incredibly durable, versatile, and easy to use. You can be assured Marvin Windows and Doors are built around you. And Lisbon Storm Screen and Door is one of Wisconsin's largest Marvin window and door dealers. For your best selection, choose your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Find out more at lisbonstorm.com.
Hard work and dreams lead to success, but easily filing your taxes with TurboTax and Credit Karma doesn't hurt either. Make filing taxes a walk in the park, because we'll pre-fill your info for you so you can file quickly and confidently. Winner! Get the peace of mind that comes with expert help. Let's go! Being powered by TurboTax means you're backed by the leading tax preparer, and we'll show you all your filing options up front so there are no surprises. File your taxes on Intuit Credit Karma today. Expert help not available with all products. Guarantee details available at turbotax.com/guarantee.
Go with your gut. Your dog's immune system is based in the gut. A diet lacking in nutrients can cause itching, scratching, and a weak immune system. However, there is a solution. DINOVITE. Dinovite.
It took a grand total of 2 weeks. The dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out.
Try Dinovite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dinovite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dinovite.
Hey, my name's Jay Shetty, and I'm the host of On Purpose, the #1 health podcast in the world. Join me this week as I chat with Michelle Obama, a woman of immense strength and grace. Tune in as we navigate through the chapters of her life, uncovering the moments that have contributed to her inspiring story.
What keeps me up are the things that I know. The war in the regions. What is AI gonna do?
Listen to On Purpose with Jay Shetty on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
2 years ago, the 49ers knocked the Packers out of the playoffs. Saturday night in San Francisco, will the Packers get their revenge? It's a classic playoff matchup. Listen to Packers, Niners, 3 p.m. pregame, 7:15 kickoff on the radio home of the Green Bay Packers, 97.3 The Game.
You know, before we go any further, Dave, put the music down a little bit. Am I getting older? Is that theme music, like, way too loud? It's too loud over there. I can't hear my... Okay, that's worse. No, before we go any further, I want to say something serious from the heart. And I swear this is not the setup for a joke. I've been thinking about it, and it really... I don't know if you can tell, but I've been sick all week. I haven't been this sick in a long, long time. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you who reached out with an email or a text or something to say, hey, I hope you feel better. You know, Dan, it sounds like you're doing better. One nice lady on our YouTube stream says, Dan, you look a lot better than you did yesterday. I'm glad I think you're looking... Honest to goodness, today is the first day I'm feeling even somewhat close to normal. And I do want to say thank you to each and every one of you for your concern. It is really a privilege to have this sort of human connection. You know, the recently retired Jeff Wagner, a great, great friend of mine, said people may recognize you from television, but they know you from radio. And I feel like so many people, you know, I feel like I know you, you feel like you know me. We have this connection. It's not, what did Rush used to say, that microphone? It's right here. I'm right here in your ears. It's a very intimate form of communication. I'm not, you know, looking straight out into a camera broadcasting to an audience of millions on television. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to nobody else but you, right? That's how the medium of talk radio works. That's why people who don't listen to it don't understand it, because it is that personal. There's this trust that you have in me to tell you things that the rest of the media won't, to do the stories, to do the investigative reporting that others in the media just won't do because it contradicts their narrative. But at the same time, I feel like I have this personal relationship. When I hear from you, and I can't even tell you how many different home remedy cures. Most of them involved brandy and bourbon, a lot of whiskey, a lot of old guys saying, Dan, 2 shots of whiskey before bed will do you good. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it will. Dry January, which we call Dry Danuary, unfortunately won't let me do that. But I just wanted to say I do appreciate each and every one of you. Yes, Dave. Dave wants to know what percentage wanted me to get better versus dying a slow, painful death. Dave says 80-20. More like 50-50, 64. No. 99.99999. Even liberals who hate my guts. Like I said, I wouldn't wish what I have on most liberals. On some liberals, I would wish this on. I'm kidding. It is. It's been a rough week. Let's just say that, and it is only Thursday. But thank you. AdventNews.com talk and text line always open. 414-799-1130. 1-800-838-9476 is our toll-free talk and text line. Email me dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on Twitter X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well. Watch this show streaming live on the YouTube channel for the Dan O'Donnell Show. I believe it's at Dan O'Donnell Show on YouTube. And you can always like and subscribe on YouTube. You can watch the show also, Twitter X and Facebook as well. Cold Hard Cash Contest, word this hour, credit. CREDIT, credit. You've got until 55 past this hour to go to our website and enter the keyword credit to enter the contest for this hour. Coming up in about a half hour, we are going to take a look back at forgotten history. A story from, we are going to bring that back. Folks, I'm going to be honest with you. It's difficult to produce new episodes of Forgotten History, so you're going to have to bear with me. I just don't have the time doing 2 shows. I do love doing it. Forgotten History is an absolute passion of mine. Every time I meet people out in the real world, quote unquote, invariably the things say, Dan, I love Forgotten History. I love that you put together those podcasts. We do have a library of, it's got to be 100, 150 episodes of Forgotten History that we've done throughout the years. It's available as a standalone podcast, Forgotten History with Dan O'Donnell. Go to iHeartRadio and do follow that, subscribe to the podcast, and you'll be notified whenever we do post a new episode. And we're always looking for submissions. A lot of listeners have put in, they've got great suggestions for Forgotten History episodes. I've used a number of them, and we're always welcoming them. You can shoot those to me, DOD@iHeartMedia.com. Our friends at WisconsinRightNow.com are doing just incredible work analyzing the various maps proposals that are coming into the Wisconsin Supreme Court. As you know, under the Wisconsin Constitution, 4 liberal Supreme Court justices and 2 out-of-state, quote-unquote, experts are authorized to draw Wisconsin's legislative maps. Not the legislature. That is a Republican disinformation. Legislature absolutely does not have that authority. It's out-of-state experts and Janet Protasewicz. She can draw on her little cocktail napkin, and that is what the Constitution authorizes as a valid map. WisconsinRightNow.com has analyzed all 10 proposals coming from Democrats to be selected. What is this, like a reality show? Wisconsin Got Maps instead of America's Got Talent? This is not how this is supposed to go. The legislature draws the maps. We don't just get to pick from, everybody submit your map, come on down. You have Simon Cowell say, that map was drawn by Republicans, it's awful. No, that's not how this works. We don't get to, it's not like The Voice, where you see the 4 liberal hacks in their chairs. They hit a button and turn their chair around if they like a map. Yeah. No, this is not how this works. The Constitution is very clear. Legislature has the power of redistricting. We've just become a completely rogue, anti-constitutional state. And all it took was 4 liberal hacks. Wisconsin right now is determined that in every single map that Democrats have submitted thus far, Democrats would flip the state legislature, both houses. They would retake control after the 2024 elections. Under Evers' maps, according to analysis done by WisconsinRightNow.com, using Dave's redistricting mapping software. Not you, Dave. It is a very well-known in the electoral maps world. Dave's redistricting. It's software where you can plug in, it analyzes populations and spits out maps. It does sound like a bar, Dave. You're right. Under Evers' maps, Democrats would control the state assembly 50-49. Currently, Republicans have a nearly, well, they do. They have a veto-proof majority in the state assembly. They would go from more than 2/3 control to 50-49 down. Democrats would control the state Senate 17-16. If you use, now this was using 2016 to 2022 partisan makeup in each legislative district. If you just use 2022, Democrats would control the assembly 52-47. Democrats would control the Senate 18-15. In every single map, every one, Wisconsin right now took a look at them and said, all right, Dave's redistricting software, do your thing. Here's what you get. Democrats getting about anywhere between 52 and 55 assembly seats, and it's nearly unanimous. It's 18 or 19 state Senate seats, every single one. Now, how are they all that consistent? It is so weird. It's almost as though these maps are gerrymandering to create a Democrat advantage. How do you go from a massive Republican advantage to a Democrat advantage when Democrats only live, statistically speaking, in 2 geographic parts in the state, Metro Milwaukee area and Metro Madison area? It does not work. The only way you can get this is through a partisan gerrymander. Now, I had thought for a long time partisan gerrymandering was bad. I'm old enough to remember the huge fights over the 2011 redistrict, which was the worst partisan gerrymander in the history of the United States of America. And now we're undoing that with the most unconstitutional gerrymander in the history of the state of Wisconsin. But what if I was to tell you there's a chance that the United States Supreme Court could step in and invalidate the Wisconsin Supreme Court's decision? If there was a valid federal constitutional challenge to the Supreme Court's decision based on Janet Protasewicz and the Democrat Party's funding of her campaign, why you need to know the Caperton decision, coming up next right here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. Most people know us as a trusted landscape contractor, but did you know that we've been crafting decorative concrete and masonry features for almost 30 years? All concrete is not the same. Do you know what to ask for when planning a landscape project that includes concrete? For example, there are many types of concrete mixes available, and if you don't request a premium mix, you'll likely get a bargain mix, and a driveway or patio made with a bargain mix is not a bargain at all. We use only premium concrete mixes from trusted producers, and our decorative concrete and masonry features are crafted by our own artisans, not subcontractors. There's so much to consider when preparing for your landscaping project. Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services has been serving southeastern Wisconsin since 1994. We are an established, trusted landscape contractor. Please call 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
For your new roof, we'll give you the hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty in the industry. You can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi. Get big savings at Menards. Start 2024 refreshed by exploring Pittsburgh Paint's color trends of the year in-store or on Menards.com today. Save time on your painting projects with Pittsburgh's Grand Distinction. It's a premium paint and primer in one with high hiding coverage and long-lasting color. Get a gallon starting at $29.87 after $10 mail-in rebate now at Menards. Good through January 21st. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
When you're due for tire service, visit Richlands.com for the location nearest you.
We'll give you a free flat tire repair on every tire we install. No questions asked. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're due for service.
Richlands.
Paid actor portrayal.
Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. In 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected.
Ethos fast and easy online term life insurance up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single-line 5GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Wisconsinites may need to know the Supreme Court decision Caperton v. Massey very, very soon, because it could provide the precedent for the United States Supreme Court to step in and to actually overturn the Wisconsin Supreme Court's decision overturning Wisconsin's electoral maps. It was a 5-4 decision in 2009, and what was interesting about it is that it was Justice Anthony Kennedy, remember when he was the ultimate swing justice, joined by John Paul Stevens, David Souter, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and Stephen Breyer, the court's four liberals at the time. Roberts, Scalia, Thomas, and Alito all dissented. In fact, Roberts wrote the dissent in this case. In this case, a man named Hugh Caperton filed a lawsuit against the A.T. Massey Coal Company in October of 1998. State trial court in West Virginia renders a judgment against Massey, found it liable for $50 million in damages. A huge, huge judgment. Supreme Court of Appeals of West Virginia granted a review. However, prior to hearing the case, Caperton motioned for Justice Brent Benjamin to recuse himself, arguing that since Massey's CEO donated $3 million to Justice Benjamin's campaign to win a seat on the Supreme Court of Appeals, his participation would present a constitutionally unacceptable appearance of impropriety. But Justice Benjamin refused to recuse himself. The Supreme Court, with Justice Kennedy writing the opinion, found that we conclude there is a serious risk of actual bias based on objective and reasonable perceptions when a person with a personal stake in a particular case had a significant and disproportionate influence in placing the judge on the case by raising funds or directing the judge's election campaign when the case was pending or imminent. In plain English, that means because Massey's CEO spent $3 million, by far the biggest investment in Justice Benjamin's campaign, and that campaign was clearly a factor in how Benjamin ruled on this case, or at least it appeared to be. His appearance on the case created a 14th Amendment due process violation for Caperton. Caperton, in other words, couldn't possibly get a fair trial because Massey paid for the judge that it wanted to hear its own case. Does this not sound exactly, and I mean exactly, like what happened with the Justice Janet Protasewicz Supreme Court campaign? The Democratic Party of Wisconsin clearly has the biggest stake in the redistricting process, right? They are the biggest winners of the decision to strike down the electoral maps. The Wisconsin Democratic Party was by far the biggest funder of Janet Protasewicz's campaign. $10 million straight into her coffers by the Democratic Party, who knew that she was going to sit on the redistricting case, and both she and the Democratic Party were saying the same thing. The current maps are rigged. If you vote for Janet Protasewicz will vote to, quote, unrig the maps. In other words, just like in Caperton, the Wisconsin Democratic Party was paying to have a judge it wanted, Protasewicz, literally a bought and paid for judge, to sit on the redistricting case. I don't think I need to replay those sound bites, do I, of Justice saying, the maps are rigged? Protasewicz said the maps are rigged. When I say the maps are rigged, I mean the maps are rigged. No reasonable person would claim otherwise. This meant she was saying, all right, Democratic Party, you fund my campaign. Democratic voters, you vote for me, I will vote to strike down the maps. Not only is this a violation, a clear violation of Wisconsin's Code of Judicial Conduct, it's also a violation of this Caperton standard. Think about the similarities here. In fact, in the state Supreme Court's decision striking down Wisconsin's electoral maps, Chief Justice Annette Ziegler laid out the comparisons incredibly effectively. In Caperton, the interested party knew that whoever won the election would most certainly be on the court when it decided whether to sustain or overturn the court's verdict against him, but that case did not arise for 11 months. In Clark, the interested parties filed this case directly with the Wisconsin Supreme Court just after its candidate was sworn in. When she says just after, she means just after, a day after. They waited a grand total of 24 hours. With Caperton, the interested party knew the state's highest court would consider his pending case on appeal, so he supported the candidate he wanted to have sit in judgment of his case. With Clark, the interested parties supported their candidate, so she would be sitting on their future redistricting case. In Caperton, the interested party donated or spent $3 million to help his candidate of choice. In Clark, the interested parties donated at least $10 million in a record-breaking election to elect their judge who spoke freely of her thoughts on redistricting. In Caperton, the interested party's outsized donation was more than the total amount spent by all other supporters and 3 times the amount spent by the candidate's own committee. With Clark, nearly $60 million was spent, ranking Justice Protasewicz's campaign as the most expensive judicial campaign in United States history. In Caperton, the interested party's chosen judicial candidate won with 53.3% of the vote. In Clark, the interested party's chosen judicial candidate won with 55.5% of the vote. In Caperton, the petitioner moved to disqualify the recently elected justice before bringing his appeal, but the newly elected judge denied the motion to recuse 6 months later. With Clark, members of the Wisconsin legislature filed a recusal motion against Justice Protasewicz, but she, also a recently elected justice, denied their recusal motion. The facts are nearly identical. There's not a dollar's worth of difference. Well, actually, there's $7 million worth of difference. Democrats spent $7 million more to buy Protasewicz a seat on the Supreme Court so that she would make maps far more favorable to them than the CEO of the Massey Coal Company paid to Justice Benjamin. The United States Supreme Court has a clear entree into this case. I believe it needs to be overturned on Caperton grounds. There was impermissible bias by Protasewicz. And in fact, I've got the evidence in the form of the WisDems Twitter account that we're saying, look, if you vote for Janet Protasewicz, she's going to overturn the electoral maps. You want fair maps? Vote for Janet Protasewicz. They were saying they knew that if they just spent enough money, Justice Janet Protasewicz would decide their case. This isn't judge shopping. Again, this is judge buying. Now, Democrats are oddly silent about the outsized influence of money, especially in judicial elections right now, aren't they? Is this really what we want, though? Remember when Democrats were very concerned about bought and paid for politicians with special interest dark money invariably coming from the Koch brothers? Now they don't seem to care. They love the fact that all of this money is flowing in, that Democrats can spend $10 million on a nonpartisan race to ensure that a candidate who was vetted she was vetted so that she would be 100% guaranteed to vote against the current legislative maps. And now, wouldn't you know it, you've got Mark Elias and his law firm. They're looking to challenge the congressional maps that the liberal Supreme Court approved just a year and a half ago, and that Governor Evers was the one who drew. Just absolutely unreal. The cravenness of this. The Supreme Court has a federal constitutional issue on which to overturn these maps, and it needs to, if only to stop this utterly rogue court. Forgotten History is coming up next. Stay tuned. It's the Dan O'Donnell Show. Dan O'Donnell here for my friends at Mander Collision and Glass. I talk all the time about how Mander is your best decision after a collision or for windshield repair. But here's customer Sarah, who writes, I went to Mander Glass in Muskego after getting a large crack in my windshield. They were able to get me in for an appointment quickly, and they were able to replace my windshield in just a few hours. The end result looks great. Very happy with the service and friendliness of the staff. Would recommend. Thanks so much for sharing that, Sarah. And in fact, I just had almost the exact same experience with Mander Glass myself. I got a small crack, which turned into a large crack, and the team at Mander took care of me with the professional and courteous service that you can only get from a family-owned business like Mander. Sarah and I know what you should too. Mander truly is your best decision after a collision.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
This is Michael Lynch from the Lynch Truck Center. We've been working hard sourcing work trucks from all over the country. We currently have over 300 commercial work trucks in stock and ready for your choice of upfit. Our sales team is 100% dedicated to commercial trucks, which means our truck professionals can get you the right truck right now. Our new inventory of Chevrolet, GMC, Isuzu, Hino, not to mention our used inventory, combined with nearly 30 commercial financial lenders, ensures the lowest rates possible for you and the fastest buying experience. Our service center has over 20 dedicated truck bays running 2 shifts, a contact-free sales process, and delivery drivers ready to deliver your truck right to your door. We know your time is important, so we make sure our process is quick and hassle-free. Find your new truck today at lynchtruckcenter.com or stop into the Lynch Truck Center at Highway 36 in Waterford. We won't disappoint you.
Hi, this is Nick from Metro Milwaukee Homebuyer. And if you want to sell your house fast for cash, contact us today. We are a local family business, A+ with the BBB, and we always treat you right. Visit MetroMilwaukeeHomebuyer.com to get your fair as-is cash offer today.
Are you hiding your smile? Discover your new smile today at the dental office of Dr. Matt Smith, Milwaukee's premier cosmetic dentist. Dr. Matt provides comfortable, customized care in a private spa-like setting. With their advanced technology and digital impressions, you too can visualize your new smile ahead of time. Get your confidence back, just like so many of his past patients have. To see their stories and transformations, head to mattsmithdds.com, where they bring smiles to life. That's mattsmithdds.com.
Whether you're an active or passively active home shopper, our agents want you to be completely up to date with what's out there and what's brand new to the market. With our instant emailed MLS updates, you'll never miss out on what could be the home of your dreams. All you have to do is call and tell us where to search, give us a price range, and soon you'll be totally in tune with your desired real estate market. Remember, MLS searches show you everything. Some of the other real estate sites don't. So call Benefit Realty today, where you'll pay less for full service. Benefit-realty.com. 3.5 to 3.9% real estate commission. You can't find a lower rate of commission, and you won't be able to find better knowledge, service, and real estate expertise than you'll find with our agents at Benefit Realty. Because I know that's what you expect. Now, I'm not sure you'll be able to find the highest caliber of agents everywhere, but I can promise that's what you'll get here. So choose Benefit Realty to exceed your expectations, and you'll pay less for more. This is Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, where you pay less for full service. Benefit-realty.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Market volatility, global issues, inflation, still. More than a few headwinds this year. That's probably why Americans feel uncertain about their financial futures. Boomers, not much room for error. Gen X might need more than a 401k. And for millennials, it's time to get real about saving and investing. Talk to Annex Wealth Management. Build security with a partner on your side for unbiased advice. You may need more than investments. That's why Annex delivers tax and estate planning. There's an Annex plan personalized for you. Click the Get Started button at annexwealth.com.
Sun, 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 fun, 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 sun, sun, sun.
Boaters, this is your show, the Milwaukee Boat Show at State Fair Park. Over 300 boats, family runabouts, ski and surf boats, luxury pontoons, more Lake Michigan boats than ever. Tierra, Beneteau, Pursuit, Cruisers, Sea Ray, Boston Whaler, and more. We have the boats. See Twiggy the water skiing squirrel the second weekend. Check MilwaukeeBoatShow.com January 19th through 28th. Closed Monday and Tuesday.
I'm America. You know that there's America. You know that there's
Conservative thought.
not just talk.
This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
This is the time of the week here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, where we tell the stories of the red, the white, and the blue that you might not have heard in history class, you might not have seen in a documentary or wherever you learn about history, but they are the stories that make us who we are today, what make us Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Forgotten History. Are there any ideals more American than those of freedom and self-governance? They are so sacred that we fought armed revolutions to uphold them, sometimes even against ourselves. This is the forgotten history of the day-long Civil War. The people of Van Zant County were horrified. Word had just reached the tiny East Texas community that the state had seceded from the Union and was planning to join the Confederacy. Much of Van Zant, as many as 350 people, met to protest the move and decided that something had to be done to keep the community in the United States. Van Zant had no reason to leave. Slavery was so uncommon there that, according to one local legend, a man from out of state came through looking for a place to keep his slaves for a short time. When he was asked later if Van Zant County was a good place for it, he replied, "Hell no. I had as soon think of taking them to a free state." The county saw this as a badge of honor and began calling itself the Free State of Van Zant. The nickname would prove to be appropriate. As the townspeople protested Texas's secession, they got an idea. If a state could just up and decide to leave America, then certainly a county could decide to up and leave a state. They decided to secede from Texas. Once they began forming their own government, though, the state caught wind of their plans and threatened them with military intervention if they continued. The Free State of Van Zant backed down, but its secessionist spirit still burned. In the summer of 1867, 2 years after the Civil War ended, Reconstruction was in its rocky early days, and Texas fell under the military governorship of General Philip Henry Sheridan. His troops largely ignored tiny Van Zant County, but its citizens still resented being occupied by Yankee forces. They again decided to secede, this time from both Texas and the United States. County leaders met in the courthouse in the town of Canton, elected delegates from across the region, and drafted a Declaration of Independence. Van Zant, henceforth, the document read, will be a free and independent state and will be known as the Free State of Van Zant. Unsurprisingly, General Sheridan was not pleased. A battle-hardened commander who had led the cavalry corps of the Army of the Potomac that pursued Robert E. Lee and ultimately forced his surrender, Sheridan was not a man to be trifled with. And he was not one to put up with rebellious Texans either, once saying of the state, "If I owned Texas and hell, I would rent Texas and live in hell." He dispatched troops to Van Zant immediately. Unlike the county's last secession, however, the rebels refused to back down. They met in the Canton courthouse again and, perhaps mad with revolutionary fervor, declared war on the United States of America. Dozens of them ran from the meeting, grabbed shotguns, rifles, pistols, whatever arms they could find, and took up defensive positions at the outskirts of town to wait for Sheridan's troops to arrive. When they did, the townspeople shocked them. Shots rang out, and the Union soldiers, completely unprepared for an armed resistance, quickly retreated so they could regroup and formulate a plan to safely put down the rebellion. The Van Zanters, meanwhile, were ecstatic. The Yankees were in retreat. They had won. They really would remain a free state. More than 100 rebels celebrated at a local tavern all afternoon. They laughed and joked and told stories of their bravery during that morning's battle. After
Afternoon turned to evening, and evening turned to night, and the party kept going. But the Van Zanters didn't count on Sheridan's troops returning so quickly after their defeat. They used the darkness of night to sneak back to the outskirts of town and, finding it undefended, rode right into the town square. There were the rebels. Half of them passed out, and the other half barely sober enough to stand up. The soldiers quickly rounded them up and chained them to one another. The following morning, they made the rebels cut down trees and build a makeshift prison to house them all until General Sheridan could decide what to do with them. One of those rebels, a former Confederate soldier and prisoner of war, had hidden a knife in his boot before he went off to fight the previous day, and he knew just what to do with it. For 2 days, he secretly sawed away at the chain connecting the men's shackles. Then a sudden and massive rainstorm gave them the opportunity they needed. The guards rushed inside to get out of the elements, and the rain loosened the wooden bars of their cell just enough for the men to fit through. They made a break for it. Some fled to Louisiana, others to Arkansas, still others to Oklahoma, but arrest warrants were issued for all. None were ever served, and none of the men ever went to trial, as General Sheridan, it seemed, just wanted to put the whole embarrassing mess behind him. Most of the rebels eventually returned home, and even though their secession failed, their legacy lives on. Their county still calls itself the Free State of Van Zant.
Bull riding, the perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. Professional bull riders aren't just athletes, they're daredevils with cowboy souls. Come experience the true modern West, where 8 seconds of glory will create a lifetime of memories. It's the Unleash the Beasts Milwaukee PBR, presented by Cooper Tires at 5 Serve Forum, March 9th and 10th. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com and PBR.com. Hold tight. The ride of your life is about to begin.
Hey, it is Dan O'Donnell for my amazing friends at Built-Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses. Built-Right's New Year's sale is extended, so shop where the O'Donnell family shops. Now more than ever, it is the time to support Built-Right, a locally and family-owned business for 4 generations and 96 years strong. Built-Right's 45,000 square foot showroom has thousands of items in stock, plus 500 mattresses. Special and custom orders are faster in 2024. You'll find hard to find, affordable, better quality, USA-made, small-scale, Amish-made, and real solid wood furniture, and much more. Plus, the lowest prices on popular brands like Smith Brothers, Elran, Temple, Decorest, Ultra Comfort, Heirloom, Restonic, and Therapeutic. Free in-store design services, best place to shop, and winner of the Home Furnishings Association Retailer of the Year. Shop Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, they're closed to be with family. Tell them Dan sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
Whether you're a winter fanatic or a spring enthusiast, Door County offers activities you'll love, and Pheasant Park Resort offers a special you'll really love. Book 2 nights and get a 3rd night free. Good through May 16th. Enjoy winter, spring, or book a stay for both seasons. Ice skating, snowmobiling, cross-country skiing, ice fishing and sledding, or golf, boating, fishing, hiking, biking. Sister Bay and Door County has you covered. And Pheasant Park Resort has your 3rd night covered. Visit pheasantparkresort.com to reserve.
When you hire your local CertaPro painters, you get the power of doing it right. Detailed project proposals, excellent customer service, and trusted professionals who get the job done on time and on budget. The power of experience. We're kings of the scaffolding and pros with the stucco. We've been there, done that. Get your project started at CertaPro.com and get the power of pro.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
You know, our friends at Henry Repeating Arms, they manufacture a line of very high quality rifles, shotguns, and revolvers that you can be very proud to own. Now, they're made in America with parts and materials also from America. Now, they use old world craftsmanship combined with cutting edge technology to deliver reliable and accuracy that you can trust in any situation. Now, they're easy to use and maintain. It makes them an excellent choice for both the novice and experienced experienced shooter. Henry has over 200 models, so you can find the firearm that's right for you. There's also new releases all throughout the year, and every purchase is backed by their lifetime warranty and the company's owner. Anthony Imperato also gives his personal guarantee for 100% satisfaction. Now make sure you go to their website, henryusa.com, order their free catalog. They'll send you free decals and a list of dealers where you are. That's henryusa.com. Free catalog, free decals, and a list of dealers where you are. You're going to love this company and these firearms like I do.
Feeling crushed under the weight of financial stress or overwhelmed by debt? Are you dreaming of owning a home or launching a thriving business? At Operation Hope, we can help. This holiday season, give yourself the gift of financial freedom. Our financial coaches can empower you to realize your financial dreams. They are from the communities they serve and are here to help broker peace of mind, creating pathways to financial wellness and stability tailored to your needs. And all services are free of charge. Visit OperationHope.org to learn more.
If you're someone who is experiencing shoulder, hip, or knee pain and a total joint replacement may be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality joint care and specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee. Find them at orthowisconsin.com.
For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi!
SemperFiRoofing.com.
Tune in every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. as Ellenbecker Investment Group highlights local people and organizations who are using their time and their talents to give back to make a difference in our community. Milwaukee's philanthropic community. Visit ellenbecker.com to learn more.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Welcome back to it. Forgotten History, available as its own standalone podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts. Please follow us there. Hit a like for Forgotten History, the Free State of Van Zant, one of my favorite oddball stories from the annals of human and American history. Have we stopped freaking out about Donald Trump's fingers? This is the most insane thing I have heard in quite some time. One of the Lincoln Project fellows was speculating that Donald Trump might have had early-stage leprosy. He's walking into the courtroom to face the E. Jean Carroll defamation case, and he's waving to supporters, and he's got marks all over his forefinger and his thumb. Early-stage leprosy was the speculation. Then you got James Carville speculating he has syphilis. And let me tell you, from years of working with Clinton, James Carville knows what syphilis looks like. What does Donald Trump do more than almost anything else? What does he like to do? If you had to guess what Trump's favorite thing to do on a beautiful sunny day, what do you think Trump would want to do? Golf. What happens to your hands when you play a lot of golf? You get blisters. Are we that stupid that we didn't realize these were blisters on his hands from playing golf? Or is our media that insane to believe the... Well, you know what? I don't even need to finish that sentence because I know what the answer is. Now the story after... This is amazing. After months and months and months and months of polling showing that Trump is beating Biden in pretty much every critical swing state. As soon as he pretty much clinches the nomination by dominating the Iowa caucuses, a couple of polls now show Trump losing to Biden. It's so weird how this happens. Joe Biden has this from Newsweek. A slim lead over Trump in a potential presidential contest between the two. 3 national polls all put him behind the Republican frontrunner, after 3 recent polls showed Biden behind the Republican frontrunner. Boy, oh boy, I'm starting to sound like Joe Biden towards the end of a show here. Thank you very much, influenza. The surveys from pollsters Ipsos and YouGov, both of those, by the way, have a tendency to sway Democratic. They tend to lean a bit more Democrat than other pollsters. They give Biden a lead of between 1 and 2 percentage points, though a Newsweek analysis released earlier this month suggested Trump is on track for a second White House term due to his stronger performance in key swing states. Ipsos survey, 3,800 registered voters conducted between January 3rd and 9th for Reuters found Biden was the preferred choice of 40%, Trump 30%. Another 10% of voters, though, said they would back some other candidate. This is probably going to be a year in which you have decent strength from Robert Kennedy Jr. And this is the factor that I don't think a lot of Republicans are taking as seriously as they should. RFK Jr. appeals to Republican-leaning voters much more now than he does to Democrat-leaning voters. What do you mean, Dan? He's a Kennedy. He's Democratic royalty. I know. Has he done more interviews with Rachel Maddow or Tucker Carlson over the last 15 months? Has he appeared more on Fox News or CNN over the last 15 months? Does he say things that you like more or that you dislike more? My case is closed. He's going to probably be pulling more votes away from Trump than he is from Biden. So I say if Democrats are going to pull their totally defender of democracy move by trying to keep RFK Jr. off ballots, it might not be the worst thing in the world. Terrible for democracy, even though Democrats are only defending democracy by removing our choices in who we vote for, clearly. It's probably better for Trump. This is something that I think we are a little naive about. This also comes as Tucker Carlson, Donald Trump Jr. says, is in the running to be Trump's VP. Tucker Carlson himself has said, in fact, Tucker said in Milwaukee at the MacIver Institute event that I attended back in November, he had absolutely no interest in being vice president or being in politics of any kind. This was a Newsmax interview. Don, is your dad serious about Tucker Carlson? Are those rumors true? Asks Rob Finnerty. That clearly would be on the table, right? I mean, they're very friendly. I think they agree on virtually all these things. They certainly agree on stopping the never-ending wars, and so I would love to see that happen. That would certainly be a contender. No, it wouldn't be. Trump almost certainly is going to pick a woman. You always need to bring balance to the ticket. Frankly, I think the debate over who the running mate is one of the most overblown, overhyped things in the world. To wit, do you remember when Obama named his running mate in 2008? I actually do, because I was on the list to get a message. You got an email, and it was Joe Biden. And everybody was like, and I got the message. And I was like, oh, well, that's anticlimactic. Everybody thought, oh, my gosh, he's going to pick Hillary. It's going to be Obama-Hillary, and it's going to be the unbeatable ticket. Nope. It was Joe Biden. Now, in 2012, it was exciting for us here in Wisconsin, obviously, when Paul Ryan was picked as the running mate. I can remember when that announcement was made, too, because I was in the Dells, and I got calls from, at the time, I was doing news hits. I was at the other radio station down the dial, and I was doing news hits for Fox News on all things Wisconsin. And the producer friend that I worked with was like, Dan, I'm laying on the couch in the Wisconsin Dells, and he's like, can you come on in 45 minutes and talk about Paul Ryan? I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, probably not. How about in 2016? Was Mike Pence that big of a selection? I can make the argument that there was in recent presidential history, one game-changing selection. We all know what it was, right? It was Sarah Palin in 2008. When John McCain picked her, it absolutely upended that race to the point where the media dispatched dozens of reporters to Wasilla, Alaska. They couldn't find their way to Barack Obama's radical pastor, Jeremiah Wright, and shove a microphone in his face and see what chickens come home to roost for Obama. No. We've got to destroy this woman, because almost immediately people fell in love with Palin. She gave just an electric speech at the Republican National Convention. Lipstick, what's the difference between a hockey mom and a bulldog? Lipstick. Everybody 15 years later can still remember that line. I mean, she absolutely killed it. And of course, the media couldn't let this happen. They could not allow their savior, their new messiah, to be tripped up by this hick from some backwater igloo. So they tried to destroy her. And then, of course, McCain, as only McCain could, sabotaged his own campaign by leaving. Oh, yeah, I've got to go back and vote for the stimulus package. This is more important. No, ensuring that a radical socialist who doesn't hamstring the nation's economy for the next 8 years, that would be your top focus. But McCain was McCain, and that race after September 15th, when Lehman Brothers collapsed, it was fait accompli. I mean, there was just no way McCain was ever going to win, and I would argue he was a terrible candidate who never should have been nominated, should have been Mitt Romney in 2008. Had he picked Sarah Palin, I still think the allure of the first black president was probably never going to be defeated, but nonetheless. All right, we are out of time for this show. I will be hosting the Mark Belling Late Afternoon Show starting at 3:06. Talk to you then on WISN.